All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Dr. Farshid Bagherian, who's a political analyst at the West Asia Studies Center. Dr. Bagherian, the question that is on the minds of a lot of people, of course, is this. In the aftermath of what has been happening in the last 24 to 36 hours, from the Iranian perspective, where do you think this conflict is headed? Because the Israelis don't seem to be backing down.
Thank you very much for your invitation. And first of all, accept our condolence for the Islamabad plane crash. Regarding your question, first of all, let's compare this operation with the previous one. I'm afraid I never called this kind of operation that happened between Israel and Iran 2 days before. I prefer to use the word instead of operation, because the casus belli, that the causes to make a phrase as war is happened, because if you see the first attack of Israel was so sophisticated, and simultaneously Israel attacked persons, attack some buildings, attack some nuke research centers, some military bases, and many other targets. So it's better to put the name of war. Secondly, this time Iranian mass media, Iranian government media, is better to say, shared the all moments second by second with people. Instead, the previous one, first of all, they denied for 1 or 2 days. If you look at the Israeli side at the same time, this time, didn't apply censorship to the media, to the videos. So this time, they are making a war, involved in a war for survival. Right. And they use the phrase survive. This is war. This is not strike. This is not operation. This is not attack. So this time, because
I think that's a point that you've well made, that this is indeed an all-out war. That is what it does appear at this moment. Yeah. Dr. Bagherian, you're joining us from Tehran. Give us a sense of what the situation is like in Tehran at the moment, because the Israelis have said that it is Tehran that they want to target the most.
According to Mr. Kos, he warned Tehran that if you continue to strike the mass housing in the Tel Aviv or the other cities of the Israel, Tehran will be burned. This is some part of the 5th generation of war, psychological war. This is some part of the cognitive war. Iran, especially during the Mr. Ahmadinejad, till now, they are trying to wiping out Israel from the map, world map. This is a part of the psychological war. But the fact is, right now, if we goes back to my aforementioned details, that this is the war, and this is a surviving war. Of course, they are trying to overthrow the other part of the part of the action. If you see the words, if you look at the glance of the words, that first of all, Mr. Netanyahu talked about the government overthrow. The government overthrow, what does it mean? Because the cabinet of Mr. Netanyahu is, how can I explain? This is sometimes is in a hazardous level. But with this operation right now, he got more voters and chairs from the Knesset. This is survive. So Iran at the same time lost some kind of the legitimacy by the people, by some part of the people. But after this kind of the attack that I'm calling it a war, Iran can concentrate the legitimacy from part of the people. And this is very important. This is very important for the survival for some government of the state and for administrations. In this time, in this period right now, both Iran and Israel, they are recovering their legitimacy, not attacking each other. And in the second part, they will attack each other. This is some kind of the warming up. I assume it's warming
Dr. Bagherian, I think you're putting it in perspective in the larger strategic objectives that the two nations want to in fact achieve. But I want to talk about something that is much more immediate, that is happening at this moment as we speak.
I know.
Because it is an unprecedented situation that we are in. The Iranians have struck Tel Aviv. This is something that's never happened in the history of the state of Israel since it came into existence about 7 decades ago. Now, the Israelis have been striking in a very concerted manner at the Iranian nuclear facilities. The IAEA chief says that this is in contravention of the international law. The question that I want to ask you is this: looking at the manner in which things have escalated in the last 36 hours and about the possibility that the Americans could also get involved in this war, how does Iran proceed from here? Is it looking for an escalation, or is it looking for an off-ramp to cool things down?
From my part, escalation is foreseen because, first of all, we have two Americas. One is America, that we call it state, and the other is Mr. Trump's America. There is many differences between the two Americas. Mr. Trump tried to put Iran on the table and tried to oblige Iran to put a sign on a blank paper for the future of the Iran, for the future of the nuclear program and something else. Iran refused, and Iran called it as a red line for that. So tomorrow, the world's supposed to see the accord signed between Iran and the United States in Oman, in Muscat. And Israel stopped that. Israel stopped that. And Iran right now resigned to take part to tomorrow, accord. So for this reason, look at the situation on Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, during his presidential campaign, tried to promise the world that I'm trying to bring peace for the world. He couldn't do that. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, never. And the final post is Iran. So this is the Mr. Trump project. This is not the war. This is Mr. Trump project. Okay.
All right. Interesting. Dr. Bagheri, you're joining us from Tehran, so I'm pretty sure you'd be able to give us a better picture of what probably the people within Iran are listening to when they're hearing about this war. Because Tasneem News Agency, which is one of the local news agencies in Iran, has reported that Iran has downed yet another Israeli F-35 jet. This reportedly is the third F-35 jet that the Iranian government claims it has brought down. Are the Iranian people being shown any kind of a wreckage of the F-35 that has been shot down, if it has been shot down? Because the Israelis say that all of these claims by the Iranians are just rubbish.
Yeah. I have heard the Israeli comments, but Iran not only told that the F-35 stealth aircraft was down by the Iranian forces, and beside one F-16 also, and one of the pilot was a woman, and the other was safe. Is already they details this. In the news, we had this news from the testing news, not only the testing news, from the other.
Right, we seem to have lost the line with Dr. Bagheri there. He was joining us from Tehran, and we'll try reconnect with him. But remember, we are at a very critical juncture in terms of what's been happening between Iran and Israel. There are hectic negotiations that, of course, are happening behind the scenes. But what is, of course, is important to emphasize here is that Israel, for the third straight night, has again resorted to staging attacks on Iran. That, at least, is what the Israeli side is claiming at this moment.
The Israeli side announced before that this attack, the first day attack, would be lasting for 6 days, and I think it's based on some belief in the Tanakh or maybe Torah that God produced the world in 6 days, and the seventh day God tried to get the rest. Because I think that this is some theological point of this kind of war. Because also they put the name of a rising lion on this, and they derived this phrase from the holy book. But right now, Iran is also,
that is true. Dr. Bagherian, you're talking about the theological aspects and as to why they named the rising line, the biblical connotations. But I want to talk about the geostrategic significance of what is happening. Because at this moment, what probably the people around the world would like to see is, because there are reports that have appeared within the Iranian media which say that a third F-35 fighter jet has been shot down. Probably people would want to see some proof. Otherwise, people would say that probably Israelis are the one who are speaking the truth here.
Because why the people don't believe that Iran could shut down the F-35? Because the first day, more than 200 aircrafts from Israel, maybe 300, I cannot remember the exact figure.
200 is what the Israelis said.
200 has more than 300 sorties. They could travel to Iran, they could penetrate to Iran's sky, and they could target many important targets and get back safely to their bases in Israel. But I'm not sure that the bases is in Israel. I'm not sure. The base should be in Iraq, because they need some tanker plane also. The American didn't claim that the tanker planes granted to Israeli attack. It means that the Israel used the air base of Iraq for touch and go for that. This is a very important point. It means that some other countries are involved in this war, and from now on, it must be two fronts. Like World War I and World War II. It must be two fronts. One front is Israel, United States, Britain, or Iraq, and the other front are still, I'm insisting on emphasizing for that, Iran, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, maybe India also. They are, because they are not, how can I explain, they are not one escalation in the region, because we are approaching for the new ties in the world.
Interesting.
And the new ties, especially with Iran and India.
But I think that's a significant thing, because there has been a phone call conversation between the Indian foreign minister and also the Iranian foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, and they've talked about how it is important to de-escalate from this moment. We're completely out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Bagherian, for joining us from Tehran and getting us that perspective there.